Welcome to Algebra 1 Honors. This is lesson 1-8, and we're talking about number lines. Now, I suspect you have already seen number lines before, but if not, here is a picture of our number line. Okay? And 0 is our origin, that's where we start. And then just because somebody picked it this way, all the positive numbers go to the right and they get larger as we go out this way. Right? And all the negative numbers go to the left, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller as you go that direction. Okay? Now, could they have designed it the other way? Sure. Could they have turned it vertically? Sure. Okay? Someone just decided that this is what our number line would look like, but it could go any lot of other ways. Okay? Now, let's put some numbers up here. What if we had 1 and 2 and -2 and -1. Well, here we're going to put a dot on 1. There's 2. -2's over here on this side, and -1's there. Now, if we have to compare two of the numbers, like -1 and +2, okay, and we have to decide what sign to put in here, the greater than sign or the less than sign. I'm going to show you two things that have always helped me to remember these very easily. Put your finger on on each of the numbers. Left finger, index finger on one, and right index finger on the other. So if I find -1, that's right here, I put my finger right there, my left finger. And I find 2, and I put my right finger there. Okay? So I find wherever the numbers are, I put one finger on each. Okay? The littler number, the lesser number, is going to be under my left index finger. Okay? L for left, your left hand makes an L real easily. So, -1 is less than +2. And less than goes that way. It looks kind of like an L somebody sat on. But another way to remember it, a really cute way, is to think of that symbol there as an alligator's mouth. Right, an open alligator's mouth. And here's its teeth. Okay, let me draw its teeth in there. It's got big pointy teeth. And alligators are hungry, always hungry. Okay? So they always want to eat the bigger number. So since we found that -1 is less than, by doing our finger test up there, than 2, the alligator's going to eat that number. So the less than symbol is one that looks like this, because the alligator's mouth is going to want to eat the larger number, the number 2. Okay? Now, let's do one more. What if we had -1 and -2, and we were comparing those two numbers? Well, again, I take my fingers, I put one on -2 and one on -1, okay? I don't cross my arms now, okay? I have to have my fingers, my arms apart like this. Well, -2 is under my left hand, my left finger, so it's smaller, okay? Less than. So this is not the one the alligator's going to eat, right? This one is the one the alligator's going to eat, because it likes to have a big meal, and this one is littler than this one, okay? So this says that -1 is greater than -2. These are the comparisons that people tend to sort of goof up, okay? Because we're used to ignoring the sign and just looking at the number, okay, as opposed to the sign, which is a part of the number. Okay? Now, what if we had some fractions in here? What if we had -1.5 and -1 3/4? Okay, and this is another one people tend to reverse. Well, -1.5, that's not too hard to find. -1.5, my red marker here, is going to be halfway in between the -1 and the -2. And then -1 3/4 is a little bit closer to -2. Okay, almost all the way to -2. So which one is lesser? Well, take your two fingers, put them here. Left finger ends up on -1 3/4, right finger on -1 1/2. So we know that -1 3/4 is smaller. So the alligator is going to want to eat this one, the one at -1 1/2. Okay? -1 1/2 is greater than -1 3/4. Okay? What do we do if we have decimals? How do we compare the decimals? What if we had -2 1/2, -2.5, and we had -2.75. Okay? To compare decimals, okay, we look across. Now, if this were +2.5 and +2.75, we would look across and say, okay, the 2's are the same, and then our tenths, this 7 is larger than this 5, so if they're positive, this number is going to be bigger than this one. So +2.75 would be right about here. And +2 1/2 would be right in the middle there. Right? Now, if they're negative, though, it's the exact opposite. If they're both negative, okay, although we'd like to think of this one as bigger, it's actually closer to -3. So it's right about here. Put it down here. And -2 1/2 is right in between. So if I do my finger test, the smaller number ends up under my left finger. That's -2.75. So I would write -2.75 compared to -2.5. Well, let's see. This is the smaller one, so the alligator's going to want to eat that one. Okay? So -2.75 is less than -2.5. Okay? You have to kind of do it as if they were positive and then reverse your answer. Okay? Another way to think of it is that if this is debt, right? This is money you owe. If you only owe $2.50, you're a lot better off than if you owe $2.75. Than if you owe $4 or $10. So the more to the negative side you go, the more in the hole you are, the more money you owe. That's another way to think about which one is bigger. Okay, well, it's better to be closer to 0 on the negative side. Okay? And that is what there is to lesson 1-8. It's really quite a simple lesson.